Are you someone that's busy all day but still behind? Are you everywhere and nowhere all at once? Watch this. I'm gonna show you how to fix that using one free tool, and the best part is, it's already on your phone. Guys, my name is Marlon Johnson. I've been in entrepreneurship since October of 2019. I've bought and sold properties all across the nation. I've wholesaled, fixed and flipped. I own 23 rental properties. I've built a 7-figure portfolio. I made my first million in 2023. I've done a run across America from Santa Monica Pier, California to Central Park, New York. And what I'm about to share with you, I'm sharing from a place of, it's actually worked for me and gotten me results in my life. Way too often I am in my DMs every day responding to messages about time management. How do I focus? How do I get results? How do I get things done? And as a high performance coach that has people paying me anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000, I'm gonna talk to you about what I do with my clients to get them producing results in as short as 90 days. There's a free app that I use every single day that has absolutely changed my life entirely, and that app is something that you've all used. It's called a calendar. Now, what's silly is most people see my calendar and it's not what they expect. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I use my calendar. I use Google Calendar every single day without fail. It has been the life-altering hack. But before we jump into the calendar, I need to express this. The calendar is only gonna work for you if first you have a clearly defined goal. I need you first. If you don't have a clear goal, I want you to go watch the other video I filmed a little while ago. I'll put the link somewhere on the screen, and it's gonna talk about goal setting and how to properly set your goals. But assuming that you're watching this video because you do have a clear goal, but you're tired of being spread out all over the place, you're tired of the infinite to-do list, that even though you get everything done on your to-do list, you still feel like you haven't done anything at all for the rest of the day, this is gonna be super helpful. So what we're gonna do is, I'm actually gonna open up my Google Calendar right now. And so hopefully you guys are able to see this. I have a screen share right now, and hopefully you guys can actually see it on the camera as well. And I'll zoom in. So the first thing I want you to notice is on my Google Calendar, I actually have everything color coded, and I have what we call blank space, right? Like it's in dark mode on my screen right now. So I'm calling this dark space, but normally I used to call this white space the free time. But check this out. On my Google Calendar, I have a handful of things that are what I call non-negotiables. So for example, every morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., I do the morning mindset coffee. This is me for the first hour of my day, exercising, priming my body, priming my mind, making sure that I am in the right state. I plan out my day at this time. I make sure my meetings are set. I review my calendar, and I meet up with other entrepreneurs, and we get together for an hour and we just talk growth mindset, we talk abundance, we talk strategy, we talk life, we talk lessons every single day, Monday through Friday. So notice that it's already on here, and also pay attention to the color. Some people have asked me, like, Marlon, what's up with the colors? Because I see red, I see blue, I see purple, I see gray. For me, anything that's covered in red, I consider that non-negotiable work. And this is work that I do that is not new income producing. I'll say that one more time. I do this work, it's not new income producing. So let's say you run a business and you own rental properties. When you go out and buy a new rental, that is income producing. You're going out and acquiring new money. But let's say you manage your own properties. While you're managing your property, that's not producing any new money. That's protecting old money, but it's not producing new money. So for me, I color code those things as red because I now see on my calendar, okay, this is the hours of work that I'm doing that is just in part of maintaining and fulfilling on promises I made in the past. So you'll see I do my morning mindset calls. On Mondays, I go in, I do a sales training and a mindset training for another community that I'm a part of, and that's another 2 hours right here. And then you'll start to see I have meetings on my calendar. So on my calendar, like today, for example, today was Monday the 2nd, I had a meeting with Randy and Caroline. Randy's our videographer. He's going to be coming out to Denver with us for a shoot. And then afterwards, because I own properties, one of our properties caught fire, and so I had to meet with the insurance broker and the insurance adjuster. So I had that meeting on the calendar, and then after this, look at that, I had blank space. So nothing was filled into space, but the reality is this phone call led to work that needed to be done after. So a lot of people think they're supposed to fill their calendar from start to finish, and I used to be one of those people. I would have the calendar going from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. back to back to back to back to back. And then what ended up happening was I started to feel terrible about myself on the days that items would bleed over. My phone call wouldn't exactly end at 10 o'clock. The next meeting would bleed into the next, and then I felt like I was chasing the day rather than being in control of where the day was going. So I've learned to leave white space, typically in between events, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. So luckily, because I had this time frame here open, I was able to deal with getting all the paperwork over to Josh, our insurance guy, and now that's being taken care of. Then after that, look at this, 10:30 to 11:30. This, it looks like it's red, but it's actually colored in purple, or I'm sorry, orange. And if you look, I have on, it's called school project. So I actually label, and I'll show you guys how I do this. I actually label different colors, different names. So the yellow is skill building, green is money making, purple is spirit, red is work. This is a particular project that is associated to my goal, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. And then meals over here. So I now see from 11:45 to 12:45, I'm sorry, 10:30 to 11:30, I was responding to my DMs. I'm responding to my messages. So I'm going to talk about this for a moment because I have goals set for my business. So inside of my business, I've got a goal for the year. That goal overarching is to grow my school community to get it to the place of doing $80,000 to $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And so with that being the overarching goal, the main thing, I know what's most important for me is hitting that number. Because if I hit that number and I hit that goal, all the other goals I have set for myself are downstream of that. If I knock that first domino over, all the other dominoes fall. So when I'm prioritizing my calendar, what I'm doing is I'm making sure that there is priority time. There's set aside time moving that one goal. So when it says school project, that task is directly correlated to making that goal happen. This is like my favorite thing about this, right? So I have the respond to DMs, and that's set aside for an hour. That's important. People think I use AI automation. I don't, because I'm actually building community. I'm getting connected with my clients. And so that's important work for me. And what's funny is that's my needle moving work for the day. In other words, if I got nothing else done today, if I didn't go to the gym, if I didn't talk to the insurance guy, if I didn't do anything else, but I responded to all the DMs that I get, because those DMs are what lead to people signing up for my coaching. It's what leads to people signing up for my community. It's what leads to me getting speaking engagements. As long as I'm doing that work, I know I am set. So that work is prioritized on my calendar. It has its own time bucket. Nothing is able to interfere with it. And when I do that work, my phone goes into do not disturb mode. I put on a timer and I allow myself to just work. I actually keep a timer here at my desk, and I have a timer down in my bedroom. I have a timer almost anywhere that I work, and I will just go into focus mode for an hour. Afterwards, you see on the calendar right now, it says film. So that's what we're currently doing. We're filming right now for another, probably we'll end up going late with this one. We're probably gonna film till about 1 o'clock today. And then I'll go hit up the gym. And then after that, notice I have blank space. Why do I keep blank space? This one alarms so many people. I actually keep the blank space there because as my day gets unfolded, there are things that typically will happen in the morning, conversations, events that come up that need to be done. And because I have the blank space, I actually have the capacity to go and do that work later on. So if you don't give yourself the capacity, you won't be able to do the extra work when it comes up. You won't have the mental bandwidth. So many people just keep loading up their calendar, loading up their schedule, and they're loading it up with low leverage tasks. They're loading it up with random things like I gotta go sweep the house, and I gotta go clean the bathroom, and I gotta go change my oil, and I gotta go change my brakes, and I gotta go make lunch and make dinner and read a book. And I'm like, listen, all that stuff is nice, but is it needle moving? Instead, make sure that you have the priority on here, and then give yourself white space later in the day to be able to get the important work done as that important work pops up.
Do you leave open space every day, or is that on specific days?
Great question. So I leave open space more regularly now, and it's not that I say like, hey, from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock is going to be open space. It's really more that I plan the priority first. So I put the priority time on there. So for example, like that respond to DMs. Like this is the priority time. I know this needs to happen and I need to typically be able to get through at minimum 100 messages. So I have a KPI for myself. I've got to be able to respond to at minimum 100 messages. So that's my KPI. That's my metric. That's the thing that converts. And let's say I didn't get to finish it all during the 10:30 to 11:30. I now have time later in the day to do it. Or because I have white space, if we have a good idea, I know, hey, I could film with Ben more today. I'm able to get more work done today. So leaving the white space is more about, did I get the needle moving priority work done first? And then later on, I can handle whatever else may pop up as important and urgent. Let's look at like Tuesday, for example. So each tonight before I go to bed, what will actually happen is like around this time, like around 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm gonna plan out my Tuesday as well and just know what's coming. But things that are already locked in place are locked in here. But I wanna take note of this. So of course, the morning mindset's happening. There's some white space after. I'll probably end up eating breakfast here, hopping in the car, driving out to the gym, working out, getting back, and I'm going to have a couple of meetings. I got a meeting with my mentor tomorrow at 10:30. But then look at this. This one is in green. So this meeting is actually going to be rescheduled. Anything that's in green is able to be prioritized and double booked over anything else. Why? What do you guys think green means? Green is the color of money. So this is new income producing activity. These are sales calls for me. When I have someone who's interested in doing high performance coaching with me, they're able to get onto my calendar and they're able to push out any of the other sort of work, because when I have clients that come in, my clients come in for anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000. So of course I'm going to make room on my calendar for those people, for those phone calls, because a 30-minute phone call can convert into a $15,000 to $25,000 opportunity. Why would I do anything else? Think about that, guys. And sometimes we do this. You have the ability, if you're a real estate investor, for example, you have the ability to pick up the phone and make calls to homeowners who need your help, but you put that off so that you can go and cut the grass, so that you can make lunch and meal prep, and all that stuff are nice, but why would you do that in place of an activity that has the potential to make you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000? So I hyper prioritize money making activities. They get put on green. So this week I have 2 of those sales calls lined up. So I will absolutely be addressing those first. And then I put things that are non-negotiables like my flights. And then also if you see something in gray like this is through another company I work, and I do independent contracting, independent speaking. And so when they book me, it's able to go on my calendar in gray. So I know it's an event coming in for a third party. So it's not a part of my calendar, it's a part of their calendar. So I know another person is involved. And also nothing can be double booked over that. And so what I like to highlight is, first off, Google Calendar, totally free. Everybody should be using it. But also the color coordination. Because at a quick glance, I'm able to look at my calendar and see, okay, I've got the red things, that's work that needs to be done. The orange things, those are directly correlated to my goal. The green things, those are money-making activities, so those are absolute priority. And then the things that are in blue, those are just from Marlon's personal schedule, meetings I have with people, meetings I have with mentors, flight, travel, things of that nature. And then I also have things that are purple, because for me it's important that I'm able to dedicate time to my spiritual. So I will go to church. I'll make time for prayer. If I ever need to add meditation on here, I'll make a meditation time, and I know that that's for strengthening my spirit. Now, one of the cool things when I do this is Google Calendar. If you have a professional Google account, now, you can do all this for free on a regular Google account, but if you have a professional Google account, it will actually start to give you some time insights. So if you guys look over here on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see it says work. 11.8 hours. So I can hover over this and it's going to show me everything in red that is just considered work. So this week, as of right now, I have 11.8 hours worth of work on the screen. I've got 5 hours that are dedicated to health, or AKA going to the gym. When I'm working on a new skill, so let's say I'm working on sales training or marketing. Right now, I'm not in a season of building any new skills. I'm really just working on the goal. But in other seasons, I've been working on my speaking. And so I would have time for training speaking. I would have time for learning AI. And that would go in as a yellow skill building activity. Then I have spirit. Then I have money making, then I have the school project, and then I have default. And so this gives me a glance, at a quick glance, I can see where my time is going. And I can say, hey, you know what? A few years ago, this actually helped me, because I looked at my calendar and I realized when I was managing my own properties in real estate, for example, I was spending anywhere from 20 to 30 hours just doing red work. and it was me managing my properties. And during that time, I was not making any new money. Like during those 20 to 30 hours, I was spending 20 to 30 hours a week working, not making money. Think about that, y'all. And I was like, this is silly. And I started to recognize I need to be able to pull back, make new money, and I have to be intentional about putting new money opportunities on my calendar to make sure it's worthwhile for me to be spending my time how I'm spending it. So I'm going to suggest highly that you start to use Google Calendar. And look at this. If I wanted to make a new event, it's this simple. I would go, let's say, 3 o'clock. I want to film with Ben. So I would click on the calendar. I'd go to film with Ben at 3 o'clock. I'd make sure the time is lined up Monday, March 2nd, 3 to 4 p.m. And I want to click on the calendar link down here, and I want to give it a color. And let's say with filming with Ben, I know when I film with Ben, that's work that's needed. Actually, that would go towards the school projects because we're making content that drives more traffic towards growing the community. So I would say that's going to go on the school project. Also, if I needed to tag Ben to this, I can invite Ben. I can put Ben's email inside here. And I would say, okay, cool, that's Ben. I can invite, and I would save it. So I would send Ben the invite all guests. And now I know on my calendar, it's like, hey, I've got 3 to 4 o'clock filming with Ben. And then here's the secret, guys. Do what the calendar says. Like, actually commit to living by the calendar. When people ask you, can you do anything? This is why I love Google Calendar, by the way, because what I'll do is on my phone, check this out. My phone automatically syncs up. So I just added that film with Ben, and look at where it is already on my phone. So my phone already shows me. So when people ask me, hey, Marlon, can we do something? Can we go and film? Can we go and hang out? Can you make this call? Can we hop on a quick call? I'll say like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm busy today. I'm booked. And I've made it a habit that I will not say yes to people until I check with my calendar first. I have to get permission from my calendar to be able to spend time with people. And here's one more final thing. I typically never make appointments more than a week in advance because sometimes you say yes today, but a week from now, you're not going to feel like following through on it, or something else has come up. You've got other priorities, something more important has shown up. And I don't want to just, like, I don't do when people are like, hey, let's just put like something on the calendar a month from now. I'm like, I don't know. How about you check in with me a month from now and ask me if I'm going to be available that next day or 2 days from then. That's going to allow me, so put on your calendar, call me, text me, see if I'm available, and then from there, we could put something on the calendar. But I'm not going to make a commitment to another person a month from now unless it's a money-making activity, unless it's a big opportunity. But just like, hey, let's catch up a month, check in with me a month from now.
So I'm curious, with your schedule looking like that, I know that's not a lot for you, but have you come across like sometimes where maybe like you overstack too much work, or you're not doing enough of the spirit things, or like how does that go? How do you balance your schedule?
Okay, so this is really cool. I like this because I used to do that. So when I first started using my calendar, I think I did the same mistake everybody does, which is you pack everything from block to block to block to block to block, and it looks really impressive. Like, it's fun to show your friends, like, look at all the things I have going on. But I realized that's actually not that effective to be back to back to back to back to back to back to back unless it's intentional. And his wasn't. He was just busy for the sake of being busy, and there's a bit of pride in being able to say, look how busy I am. And so what I do is nowadays on Sundays, I call Sundays my climbing the tree day. On Sundays, I will typically take the whole day off unless I'm speaking at an event that weekend. But if I'm not traveling, Sundays I take the day off. I go to church, I go to the gym, I active recovery, sauna, cold plunge, get a cup of coffee. I chill, and I will actually pull out my notepad. And what I like to do is I plan out the week. And I start planning out the week by doing one thing first, which is I pull out my goal sheet. So I actually have a document that, and I can show you guys on my computer right now. So take a look at this. I actually keep a document on. So if you guys look, I have like, it's called AI Assets. It's quick access on my desktop. And you'll see I have my business context here. I have my vivid vision here. But then if you look, I've got, where am I? Here we go, 2026 MMC goals. And if I open that document, now I'm not going to read, like, that text is going to be super tight for you guys to read. But I've got my goals actually written out. And if you look at the top, it just says, hit $80,000 monthly recurring revenue by December 31st, 2026 at the top, right? So I reprime myself by asking, what is the goal that I want to accomplish? So I get that because that's my North Star for decision making. Knowing that that's where I want to go, that's where I want to finish, that's where I want to end up, that's the North Star. Now I start to plan out the rest of my week. So from Sunday, I will plan till the next Sunday, and keeping that as the main focus, I will prioritize activity based on what do I feel I need to do that's going to move me closest to that. And in this season, the work is pretty mundane. For me, it's honestly, it's creating content and responding to DMs, because that's where a lot of my traffic comes from. My traffic comes from social media. It comes from Instagram, YouTube, and being on Zoom calls and being on stage speaking. And after people see me and meet me on stage or meet me on Zooms or meet me on YouTube, then they will DM me on Instagram typically, and I will respond to messages there, and then I will also respond to every single person inside of my school community. And so I am constantly talking to my community. I'm constantly talking to my people. And when I am now making my schedule, because I know that's the most important activity, I put that on the calendar first. Right? So think about this, y'all. A lot of people just start filling their calendar with whatever first. I actually will fill it with the needle moving activity before anything else. And then there's still a lot of free space on there. And so after that, what I will also do is I will start to put on what I call life activities, things that refill me as a person, that give me the energy to be able to keep going. So that might look like Wednesday nights. I go out and I do a parkour class on Wednesday nights. For me, I love going to the gym. So in the mornings, the gym, if you guys saw my calendar earlier, I have every single day time for the gym. Every single day. I work out, physically move my body. Things like Saturdays and Sundays, what I like to do is I'll go to a coffee shop and just read for a few hours because I really enjoy reading and I just want to be able to sit and read. So those sort of activities are the things that refuel me so that I can do the boring, mundane work every single day, day in and day out. And then after those things are put on my calendar, then I can start to add anything else that seems necessary. But I no longer have this, I don't feel pressure to just throw things on the calendar for the sake of throwing things on the calendar, right? Because if I'm doing the money-making activity, well, that's making me new income. If I'm doing the things that recharge me, that's giving me the energy to keep going. Everything else can be added on top of that. This is how I go about using Google Calendar. Hopefully this helps you guys. What I want you to do is practice using Google Calendar for yourself and start to color code your day, and it's okay to keep white space on the calendar. So if this was helpful, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you guys want me to do a deeper dive where I start with a fresh calendar and I will literally just put it together one piece at a time. Guys, if you like this video and you got value, do two things for me, please. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel because I'm gonna be putting out more content like this where I'm doing my best to show you very organically, without a lot of fluff and a lot of hype, what it is that I'm doing that's helping me produce results. It's helping my clients produce results. And if you want to go deeper and you want to be around other people who live by their calendar, who operate day to day with their calendar, go ahead and check the description below. I have a link to join into my school community. So I'd love to see you guys, meet you guys on the inside. And you know what? If you watch through this entire video, here's what I'll do. My school community, I charge $100 a month for people to join, but if you DM me and you let me know that you watched this video, DM me on Instagram at MindsetMarlin, telling me that you watched this video, I'll give you a 7-day free trial inside the community.